Well, hi, folks, and it's Karen Sullivan here at lifehealthmore.net, and I'm excited to bring to you our heart and lungs today. I would like to say heart and soul. I wanted to play that music, but I can't. It's copyrighted. Anyway, so I am a personal trainer. I live in St. Louis, Missouri, or outside St. Louis, in St. Peter's, actually, and I am busy here with working with clients and classes at the St. Peter's Recplex. Love it. I just love it. And the other extension of my work is on one-on-one coaching. And so I have people that call me, or we do Zoom calls, and we work with fitness concerns that they have and nutritional things. I am an independent Shaklee distributor, and I have over 25 years experience in all of that. So what am I doing? Well, this is wrapping up, very nearly wrapping up our, this is the end of the month almost, is it? Oh my gracious. Anyway, I am doing, for the month of April, I was doing an exercise, all about exercises, and I broke down each body part. If you haven't seen it, you can look here on Facebook page, or you can go to my YouTube page, and you can see there the, I have saved and posted all of the stories, articles, and shows that I've done. Okay, so we talked about chest and back and shoulders and arms and those sorts of things. So today we're talking about heart and lungs and how closely they work together and how important they are, because oftentimes people don't really like to do cardio. I don't know anybody that loves cardio. Well, maybe I do. But the fact of the matter is that it really is important to do. So why do I do this? Well, the fitness series and the exercise series for April is because I am a fitness instructor, but this is my passion. I am interested and have made just a total commitment to 2018, helping everyone to be the very best version of themselves, to love your life, to live the way you want to live. And if it includes exercise, so much the better, right? You like the way I said that? No, not if it includes, but it should include that, because exercise is so important. Now, in my book, The Zen of Weight Loss, which is available on Amazon, that book describes a mindful, livable approach to fitness. It is really, really my approach that I do with my customers, my clients, and to help you build your own personal fitness plan, to do what you can do, what your body dictates you can do because of your age or previous injuries or time constraints in your lifestyle. And I have all kinds of ideas about how to work around that stuff, because you have got to exercise and change that sedentary lifestyle that you have. So that's my plan for 2018, and this is a part of it, and I hope that you join me. Now, lifehealthmore.net is my webpage that does advanced training. It has all kinds of things, and I built that page, and I'm real proud of it, but I am really seriously considering adding some additional materials that talk about nutrition and exercise and integrating some. So anyway, it might be changed. So one day you might go and turn it on and it looks so different. But guess what? Same marvelous information will be there. Okay. So join me on lifehealthmore.net and also on YouTube. And please like these pages, subscribe to me on YouTube. And then that way you will get email notifications when I'm going live or when I am have just released a video. So that's to your advantage to get some of the tidbits first on my list. Okay. Now, I have two things I want to say. We're going to talk first about the lungs. And the second thing we're going to talk about is the heart and heart health. And this is a really top priority for us. It should be a top priority. So you've heard people talk about the cardiovascular exercise. We're going to do cardiovascular exercise. Well, that has to do, the vascular are all the veins and everything, and the cardio is the heart. But the lungs are also an integral part of that. And lungs sometimes get the short end of the stick, unless, of course, you have breathing problems, and then you know everything about lungs, right? Well, what do? Well, they bring oxygen into the body. And it's so important because, well, we know that you have to breathe, right? But if you don't breathe well and full breaths, what happens is you begin to kill your cells. The cells die first. This cellular level, they begin to die, and you get, I've heard it mentioned before, as being kind of like we're rusting from the inside out. That we have to have the lungs working properly. Okay. Now, the nose. Oh, then the other thing that they do, bring oxygen in, and they get carbon dioxide out of the body, because the carbon dioxide is really the trash. It's the waste that comes from the whole process of breathing. So the lungs, along with the diaphragm, help you to pull air in. By diaphragm lowers while your lungs are getting bigger, and it pulls air in through your mouth and your nose. And then you have in your nose, you have all these cilia, and there's also down in through the trachea, and down in in the lungs in some places, and they're like little hairs, and they catch any particles and pollution and dirt that's coming in, because you can't have that stuff in your lungs. Your lungs have to be clear of all of that kind of thing. So as you're breathing in, if you've ever noticed, and we've done on our meditation workshops here, and I had a meditation video on Monday, and I talk about how the air goes in your nose cool and it comes out nice and warm. Well, it's warmed from the membranes in the nose, in through the nose, and in all the way down into your lungs. And that's how it's warmed, because that's what it's supposed to do. Now, remember that these air sacs that are down inside your lungs kind of they're called alveoli. Yeah, alveoli. Okay. Anyway, they are like clusters of grapes, little clusters of grapes. In some cases of COPD, when people are having breathing problems, they are, what has happened is those individual little grape things kind of burst. And instead of being lots of individual ones that filter and oxygenate or oxygenated to get oxygen into the body, the air goes into it, those break. And instead of having a lot of little surfaces, you have just one that is really a sick mass that doesn't do what it needs to do as far as being able to get the oxygen out of the lung into the bloodstream. And that's why people who have COPD get shortness of breath. When they say someone who has emphysema has only 30% of lung capacity, it means that those things are so ruptured that only 30% of the surface is available to pull oxygen into the system, into the body. And for that reason, that's why most people have to be on oxygen. But you don't have to be, have a disease like that. You can have just a problem with asthma, which can be sometimes it's from environment, sometimes it's from the food that you eat, sometimes it's genetic. But the bottom line is asthma does the same thing. It causes a problem with the lungs not being able to function correctly. And it's different. There are different kinds of asthma, and but we all like to be able to breathe. So that's real important, is to make sure that the oxygen is able to get in. And so they need to be exercised. They need to be worked. I remember when my youngest son was little, he was probably 2, and he had bronchitis. And so I said to the doctor, okay, all right, here's this medicine and everything, but can he do anything? I mean, he's 2. Can he play or anything? He said, the best game in the world is to get a cotton ball, put the cotton ball on the floor, and give him a straw. And you both lay on your belly, and you blow the straw through the straw and blow the cotton ball across the room. And then he could scoot forward and blow it again. So we were in our big kitchen, and that's what we did. That's the game that we played, to blow it all the way over to a certain part and see who got there first. And, and it was great fun. What it did was it made him really concentrate his air to be able to force it out to move the cotton ball while it's light. When you have lungs that are all kind of inflamed and full of mucus, it's hard to do. And that's a great way to exercise. Also, deep breathing is so important. When I work with my clients that have breathing problems, or some of them with asthma, or they've just had issues along the way and they don't feel well, breathing is always the thing that I do with them. And if you think about, a respiratory therapist said to me once, well, you're supposed to breathe in as if you're smelling the flowers and breathe out like you're blowing out the candles. So those deep breaths, and if you think that way, breathe in and breathe out, and it blows. Happy birthday to me, and your lungs are healthier for that. Okay, so don't forget that that's something that you need to do, because it's important even to do those exercises when you don't have an illness. Actually, it's probably a good idea for a preventative measure to keep your lungs healthy and strong. Now, when you're doing a cardiovascular exercise and you're, running and you're on the treadmill, or you're in an exercise class and everything, and you're breathing really heavy, that's a great way to exercise, and your lungs do get stronger. But remember, you're not breathing deep. You're probably only using the top portion of your lungs. You're not totally filling them completely. Okay. So that's why you need to do the deep breathing also. So thinking about the oxygen going in, the carbon dioxide coming out. Now we go to the heart, and this is where the heart comes in. Okay. So think about your heart. Now, do you realize that most of the factors, the health risk factors for healthy hearts, are totally within your control? Okay. The heart disease is the leading cause of death, and the factors that will increase your risk. This is from the American Heart Association. 80% of the attacks that people have, heart attacks, are preventable. Isn't that frightening? Now, the people would just need to improve their eating habits, exercise, and manage their cholesterol and blood pressure. Now, what they don't say here, but later on, I was reading in the report that they talk about dealing with stress too, and trying to minimize the stress in your body. So those are the things that we need to think about. Okay. Now, prevention is really important. So exercising and the diet. Okay. So trying to stay away from the things that are full of high saturated fats. And I'm pulling my script off here. There we go. And think of the omega-3. And there it goes. In the omega-3s, okay, fish oils, making sure you're using fish oils, and get a high potency one. The omega-3s that Shaklee has are fantastic. They're called Omega Guard. It has a triple distillation process that makes sure that there is no lead, no mercury, no arsenic, no cadmium, and dioxins, PCBs, and then any of the other contaminants that might be in the fish that they pull out of the ocean. And you know that all that stuff is in there. It is certified by Friends of the Sea. And so they recognize that Shaklee goes the extra mile or 3 or 20 to make sure that what you're getting is not contaminated. The other thing that I started using recently was CoQ Heart, which is the CoQ10. If you've heard a lot of conversation about that, it really facilitates the production of energy in your cells, and it helps, and your body makes it. But taking the Shaklee CoQ Heart, and it has Qtrol in it, which is resveratrol, and together there's a symbiotic relationship between the CoQ10 and the Qtrol that it works more efficiently. It's more bioavailable, and basically you're getting a better bang for your buck, kind of a thing. So that is something. It has resveratrol is in there, and it helps that blood vessel function. Resveratrol, I know that you've probably heard that's in grapes, in red grapes, and it's just really fantastic. You need 100 milligrams of that CoQ10 a day. And to get it, you would have to eat 100 cups of broccoli in a day. Now, I like broccoli, but there's no way I can eat 100 cups. It's just not going to happen. Thinking about your cholesterol, make sure that you are eating lean. So you want to have chicken and fish. You want to limit your saturated fat. You want to try to make sure that you are, they talk about eating grains, and I always sort of am reserved to say that because grains are important for some people. Grains I can't have. I can't do the gluten. And I just recently learned that there is indeed gluten in oats. I didn't realize that. And I kept thinking, well, I could have oatmeal occasionally. Well, there's gluten in it. So kind of explain some things for me that I'm not able to eat it. So that helps me. But if you can't do grains, you can do veggies. You can do lots of vegetables, and you will never find that there are too many vegetables in your diet. You can always do more. Okay. Especially since, you want to get in the area of, 7 servings a day. Right. So I think that if you look at the heart and lungs as being a unit that keep the whole body running, it's sort of course it is a pump, but the brain is the computer, but the heart and lungs is what keeps everything healthy and makes sure that, you can get through the blood system, through the lymph system, that everything can flow. And it all comes down to needing oxygen. You know that I'm getting ready to renew my CPR. And one of the things years ago, probably, let's say I do it every 2 years, probably 6 or 8 years ago, that the American Red Cross came out and said, we're not worried about doing rescue breathing because we have to keep the heart going. And so there are a lot more compressions than the air, than blowing the air into it. And that's a little kind of a shocking thing, because you think, well, they have to breathe. Well, if the heart stops, it's all over, baby, right? So remember your heart. Remember to take care of it. Remember to do your walks. It doesn't have to be crazy, insane, high intensity work. It can just be going for a walk. Get a dog. Walk your dog twice a day. That'll be the best thing you could do for yourself and everybody around you, right? You guys have a wonderful day. And thanks for joining me.